بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى وصلوات الله وسلامه على نبينا المصطفى وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. Before I give my kalima that has been chosen for me to deliver to you, I just want to make mention of one issue concerning the khutbah, although a lot of things can be mentioned. And I start that off by just sharing with you and reminding you of another very important issue about the time that we're living in right now as an ummah. No doubt the Prophet salawatullahi wassalamuhu alayhi spoke the truth. And he described the time that we're living in many ahadith. And the fact that he could do that 1,438 years ago is a clear sign and a clear indication for a person who has weak iman, or a person who suffers from doubt in al-Islam. It's a sign and indication that he is the Nabi of al-Islam, haqqa. The real prophet is not a joke. Because how else would he be able to prophesize all of these things if he wasn't sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So he says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, يدرس الإسلام كما يدرس وش الثوب حتى لا يدرى ما الصلاة ولا الزكاة ولا الصوم ولا النسك ويسرى على كتاب الله تعالى في ليلة واحدة حتى لا تبقى في الأرض منه آية. He said that al-Islam is going to fade away. And it's going to fade away the same way that the embroidery of your thobe fades away. Person gets a new set of clothes, and those clothes, the dye is very strong. You can see it's brand new. The way it looks when he wears it is nice, but he wears it and then he washes it and then he irons it. He wears it, washes, irons it, gets dirty, wear, wash, and iron. And then when that process takes place, the thobe fades away. It starts to become ripped up and tattered, and the dye becomes lighter. It's not as dark as it was when he first purchased it. So when the Prophet came with al-Islam, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-Islam was strong and al-Islam was clear. The Muslims knew al-Islam and the non-Muslims knew al-Islam. He said, but the time is going to come where al-Islam is going to fade away the way the embroidery of your thobe fades away, until the point that the Muslims are not going to know what is salat, or what is zakat, or what is fasting, or what is hajj. And the Quran is going to be raised up in one night until the point there won't be one ayat in the earth about the Quran. And the vast majority of the ulama of Islam, they say that the basmala, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, at the beginning of every ayat, except Surah At-Tawbah, they said that the basmala is an ayat from the Quran. The people from this ummah won't know Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. They won't know the ayat Sad, Qaf, Yasin. Those are ayats from the Quran. So that hadith is telling us about the reality of our situation right now. Right now. There are those people from this ummah with Muslim names, and I'm not putting anyone down, and I'm not speaking condescendingly towards anyone or judging anyone. I'm sharing with you the reality of our ummah. There are people from our ummah who, they don't know what prayer is. If there was a new revert who came into this masjid or to any masjid and they said to that individual, teach me how to pray, that Muslim doesn't know how to pray. As zakat, you ask the average person from our ummah about the zakat, basic issues and questions about zakat. People won't know what the zakat of al-Islam is. They won't know. If someone were to come and they were to give each one of us a ticket to go to Mecca to perform Hajj or Umrah, and you get the visa, everything is ready made, most people won't know what they're doing. We don't have an idea. And that's the condition of our ummah today. The sunnah has become innovation. The innovation has become the sunnah. Tawheed is shirk, and shirk is Tawheed. The Muslim has love and rahmah for non-Muslims, gentleness towards non-Muslims, leniency, tolerance, understanding. And he's rough and tough and intolerant towards his Muslim brother. The relatives, people who share the same blood, they're enemies to one another. And the people who don't share their blood, they're best friends and so forth. This is the condition of our ummah. So people like myself who are teaching, giving dawah, I have to realize the reality of our ummah. Can't be too rough, can't be too tough. We have to put roughness in its proper place. And generally speaking, you have to be easy and gentle with the people. The Prophet ﷺ used to prepare the people when he would choose his companions to send them out to give dawah. He didn't do like some of the Muslims in some of the Islamic groups who are ignorant. He's ignorant. I embraced al-Islam in 1986. I was meeting different groups of Muslims. I met a group of Muslims who I thought the sunnah was them, and I was looking for the truth. So one day they told me, get up and speak. I said, get up and speak about what? I'm a brand spanking new Muslim. They said, don't worry about it, just speak, it'll come out. I didn't know my elbow from my ankle bone in al-Islam. They said, just get up and speak. Prophet Muhammad didn't allow ignorant people to speak like that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He used to send the ulama, people with knowledge, to go out and to teach the people. But before he would send them, he would tell those people, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Mu'adh ibn Jabal, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, he would tell them, Bashiru wa la tunaffiru, Yassiru wa la ta'assiru. When you go and give dawah, give people glad tidings and don't run them away. Make things easy for the people. Don't make it difficult. And that's how he was with the people, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was gentle and he was easy. Allah described him in many ayat of the Quran, like the one I told you today. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. He said in another ayah about the Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. It is a rahmah from Allah, ya Muhammad, that you were easy with your companions, with these people. When you gave them dawah, when you came to them, you were gentle, soft, understanding, kind, easygoing. If you were rough and tough with them, you would have made them run away from you. Like ISIS, that dawah, no one in his right mind would sit to listen to that dawah of killing your father in the morning and then killing your mother in the evening. Taking Muslim women, and making them right-hand possessions. They are ahrar, free women. In the UK, we have situations where our challenges are a bit different from you here. Like, I don't see a lot of shabab in this masjid. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying the reality. In our masjids there, we have a lot of shabab in the masjid. But our challenge with our shabab is, our shabab are extreme and radical. So a lot of them go over and they travel to Syria. And it happened where we had these two very gifted Somali girls, British, but from Somali origin. Intelligent, 16-year-old twins. They were twins. Their brother memorized the Quran. He affected them, influenced them. They went over to Syria because they had ikhlas. They wanted to do the right thing, but no knowledge. the way that they understood the religion. Islam has faded away like the embroidery of the thobe. They don't know that you have to have birru walidain. You have to respect, obey your parents. What kind of Islam is that, where a young girl or young boy doesn't know the position of the father and the mother? What kind of Islam is that? Islam has faded away like the thobe. Wallahi. The girl can't get married without her father's permission in al-Islam. Prophet told those people, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Ala ukhbirukum bi akbar al-kaba'ir." Should I tell you the biggest of the major sins? They said, "Bala." What? He said, "Al-ishraku billah," first one, and the second one, uquq al-walidain, disrespecting your parents. These two gifted young girls went over there because they're looking for Islam, mujahideen, al-Jannah, and they want to help the religion. And the people over there married those girls off without their wali. When the father found out what had happened, he went to get them, they wound up shooting the father. That's the roughness and the toughness of some people. Now, anybody who has sabr with a sheikh, a da'i, a teacher, anyone who is patient with shiddah, something's wrong with you. Because the ayat told Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you had been rough and tough with Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, Ukash, and these people, may Allah be pleased with them, the natural result, they would have run away from you. They would run away. But these people, they hold on to that. So my point here is, generally speaking, we should be soft, kind, and easy. This is my little nephew, Yaqub. Yaqub has a dad. As he grows up, these children, my children, we're in a society, in an environment, you can't be tough with these kids. You have to pick your points. You got to pick your fights. If you're rough and tough, like my father was, like some of your fathers were. Some of our fathers, they were old school, and they only understood that old school way. They never said to their son, "I love you, son." When you made a mistake, old school. So we don't want that old school way with our kids, so we go to the other extreme, where we don't do anything. So my point is, we have to be gentle with these kids, especially gentle with each other. So the khutbatul Jum'ah today, the goal and the objective of the khutbah was to remind you of your responsibility. And yes, it was heated. But for those of you who didn't know and you don't know, that was the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wa sallam. So you get a man during our time, the person gets up and he gives the khutbah and he's fiery like that. Some people say, well, why is he going? What is he so upset about? Because he thinks it's inappropriate. But that was the sunnah. The companions, they said about him, like Al-Bara ibn Azib, radiyallahu anhu, he said about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, kana idha ikhtataba ishtadda ghadabuhu wa ahmarrat aynahu wa ala sawtuhu ka'annahu mundhiru jaysh. When he used to give the khutbah, he used to become angry. His anger became intense. His eyes became red. And his voice would come loud, as if he was warning the people about an army that was going to come and attack them. So if you can imagine, we have enemies. We have enemies. If you didn't know that, we have really real enemies who want our demise. So someone wants to warn us of the enemy, and he's coming from, 2 miles away, and he's getting close, and the person he knows about, he comes and says, hey guys, the enemy is coming now. Hey guys, those enemies are on the way. Some of you will look at that individual and say, oh, okay, and what? And then what? But if the guy came in front of you and he started really shouting and screaming, like the Arabs, like the Prophet gave a method, and he said that he was like the naked warner. The naked warner. Al-Nadir al-Uryan. In the Arab culture, in their city, their village, they would have a man, it was his job to get on the highest part of the mountain. And he would look in all directions to make sure there were no enemies. When he saw the enemy coming, he would run off the mountain and take his clothes off. And he would run through the community waving his clothes, saying, they're coming, they're coming. When the people saw that man, they got their stuff and they left. Prophet Muhammad said, I'm like that man to you people. I'm like the naked warner. He said, now when the naked warner came to some people, they looked at him and they took their time and they went and they packed their stuff up and they just took their time. The guy, instead of running very quickly, say, hey, we have leftovers. Look, I didn't eat lunch yet. Come on, let's make the lunch. And he took his time. But there were other people, when they heard the naked warner, they got their stuff together and they left. Now, the ones who took their time, the enemy came and destroyed them. Because when the sunnah came to them, they said, it's just a sunnah. It's just a religion. It's just democracy. We got to relax. Allah's ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The religion is easy, and it is, but not to that degree. So my point here, I don't want to take too much time, but this is important in my opinion, inshallah. The point here is, at that time of the khutbah, that's the time and it's the appropriate place for the imam and the khatib to try to wake the people up with his message. But in a talk like this, we have to tone it down. In a talk like this, we have to relax. So al-hikmah, the word al-hikmah. Al-hikmah has found itself in every Muslim language. Every group of Muslims have this word in Arabic, where we know al-hikmah is wisdom, and that's one of the meanings of it. But a better meaning of al-hikmah is putting things in their proper place. Knowing when to be tough and knowing when to be gentle. Knowing when to speak, knowing when to be quiet. Knowing when to give a look and knowing when to do what needs to be done to get the job done. That's hikmah. You have an issue with your wife, with your children? Hikmah is knowing how to deal with managing the situation. Like the Bedouin who urinated in the Masjid of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wa akramakumullah. Everybody saw the man uncover and expose his awrah in front of the people, which is a big aib and a big embarrassment. Who does that? And when the people saw that, naturally, they wanted to protect the masjid because the masjid should be clean. We shouldn't have to ask volunteers to clean up. That's everybody's job. Now, obviously, we're going to leave the elders where they don't have to do that work, but the masjid should be clean. It's the house of Allah. So naturally, when the Muslims saw the man put in najasa, they wanted to get him, naturally. Prophet Muhammad said, no, don't do that. Let the man finish. Because if people would have gone and they started to grab him and hold on and push him and stop him, he would have just urinated on everybody. So the najasa would have spread further than what it needed to spread. Hikmah was, it's bad what's going on. It's bad. But let's manage the najasa in one spot, as opposed to it being on him and him and him and him. That's hikmah. Even something negative that's going to happen is negative. Hikmah is dealing with it in the proper way. In the proper way. So now is not the time in this type of talk to be hot like that. But at that time, this is the proper way. So when we talk today about al-amru bil ma'ruf and al-nahyu anil munkar, enjoining the good and forbidding the evil, we have to get knowledge to be able to do that in our religion. Because if you don't have knowledge, you will enjoin the evil and encourage people to do evil. You'll encourage people to do shirk. You'll encourage people to do stuff that Allah will become displeased with them. Because you think what you're telling them to do is correct, but it's evil. If you don't have any knowledge, you'll prevent the person from doing good. You don't have knowledge about the sunnah. So if the imam came and he talked like that, You don't want to listen because you can't understand why is he talking like that. So I say to you, Akhi, Yaqub, my little man, 50 grand. You and you other young brothers, all of you, we have to learn our religion, Ikhwani. We're living in a time right now that people who claim they're the people of the Sunnah right now, they think and they believe they are the people of the Sunnah exclusive to everybody else, just them. But when you see the understanding of the Sunnah and the application, this is not the Sunnah. This is munkar. And this is the condition of our ummah. So my call and my encouragement to myself, my family, to all of you brothers, all of you sisters, elders, youngsters, all of you. You don't have to memorize all of the Quran. I'm not telling you to do that. If you do it, for bihi wa ni'mah. You don't have to memorize all of Sahih Bukhari. You don't have to give the khutbah of al-Eid or Jum'ah. I'm not saying you have to do that. But learn enough about your religion that you know what you're doing in this religion. And you're not like the Kuffar Quraysh, who used to make tawaf around the Kaaba naked, thinking they were getting closer to Allah. Don't be like the people who are Jews and Christians, Sikhs and Hindus. They're doing what they're doing, believing that they're getting close to Allah. What do you think about the Indian man who's a monk? I went to India, I saw a man. His hair was disheveled. He looked like a bum. Saluk, he looked like a bum. His arm was up in the air, and his arm became deformed. This went in. It went like this, a curve. I started asking, who was that man? What's his story? They said this man was a Hindu monk, a priest. He made an oath, and his oath was, he made a promise to Allah, his God, whoever he worships, that he's going to keep his hand in the air, getting close to his God. So as a result of keeping his hand in the air, the arm became deformed, and he had these long nails. And he's walking around in life now, he can't put his arm down. It's stuck. Now I'm going to ask you people of Al-Islam, do you think, Yaqub, do you people think that Allah wants that from that man? Do you think so? I'm asking you about Allah. Do you think that this is something that pleases Allah, that a person deforms his body like that? Do you think so? But this was his understanding. Now, why is it that we can identify and we can understand this is not acceptable? But when it comes to our own behavior and what we do, we can't see. This is not something that Allah loves. We don't want to be like these people. As Allah mentioned, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهِ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. They're those people, they worship Allah, they don't know what they're doing. Worship Allah in a way that you know what you are doing. Which brings us to the next issue, and that is the issue of the topic that was chosen for me to present to you brothers and you sisters. A reminder, and the best reminder, no doubt, is that which concerns and is connected to the kalam of Allah. We want to deal with a tremendous ayat of the Quran. Some of the ulama of Islam, they said that this was the last ayat that was revealed, and other scholars had other opinions. It's an issue that has ikhtilaf. Nonetheless, it just shows you the importance of the ayat, that this ayat is in the discussion. What was the last ayat that was revealed? And it is the statement of Allah Azza wa Jalla, Al-yawma akmaltu lakum deenakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum al-Islam deena. He said in the Quran, on this day, I have completed for you your religion. And on this day, I have completed my ni'mah upon you, my favor. And on this day, I am pleased to choose for you al-Islam as a religion. One of the 10 companions promised Jannah, his name is Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, Ridwanullahi alayhi. He gave us a hadith that is an important hadith, as they're all important. It's connected to this ayat, in which the Prophet told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the mu'adhin makes the adhan, and then after he completes the adhan, if a person says, If a person says, after he heard the adhan, Raditu billahi rabban, wa bi Muhammad rasulan, wa bil Islam dinan, ghufira lahu dhanbuhu. Anyone who makes that dua after the adhan, I am pleased with Allah as my Lord, and I'm pleased with Muhammad as my messenger, and I'm pleased with al-Islam as my deen. He will be forgiven for his sins. All he has to do is say that simple dua. That dua is connected to this ayat. The Yahudi, and what was collected by Imam al-Bukhari and Muslim. Look at the fiqh of the Yahudi. He's not even a Muslim. He said to Umar, when Umar was the leader of the Muslims, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, there is an ayat that was revealed on you people in your book. If that ayat was revealed upon us, the Ma'ashar al-Yahud, the people of Jews, we'd have made that day a day of celebration. Because the Yahud and the Nasara, they create celebrations how they want to. Muslims are not like that. Muslims make celebrations that are legislated. Yahud and the Nasara, they have no restraints. If a person in this church or that church or that church, he wants to call himself a prophet, everybody says, okay, you're a prophet. If she's a woman, she's a preacher, she's a prophetess. You want to give the tafsir of the Bible, the Injil, however you want, no problem. That's not al-Islam. Al-Islam is a religion where you can't do what you want to do, the way you want to do it. You can't do that. So this man said, hey, Amir al-Mu'mineen, you guys have an ayat. If it came down on us, we'd have made that a celebration because it's so powerful, so important. Umar said, what ayat is that? And the man read the ayat. The Yahudi read the ayat. Shouldn't you memorize that ayat, Ya Abdullah? The Jew knows it and you don't know it. اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام الدين. The Yahudi memorized that. He told him the ayah. Umar radiallahu anhu said, he said, Wallahi, I know the day that that ayat was revealed on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I know the place that that ayat was revealed. It was revealed at the Al-Hajj al-Akbar, the last Hajj that the Prophet was making sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on the big day of Al-Hajj. It was revealed on that day, the day of Arafat, and the Prophet was at Arafat. He was at Arafat, and it was a Friday. It was a Friday. The companions, they said that the Prophet died, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 3 months after this ayat was revealed. A little under 3 months, 81 days. After this ayat was revealed, it was assigned to him, if the religion is complete, the time is fastly approaching for you to leave because you've done your job. So it's a tremendous ayat that we want to take this time out to remind you of some aspects of your religion, Ummatul Islam. And there's a lot that can be said. A lot that can be said. At the top of the list, let me say that this ayah goes to show clearly that Al-Islam is not open for anyone coming and adding onto it. It's complete. It's not in need of anyone's opinion of adding on to it. Everything we need to know in our religion is there for you to know. Everything. And there are a number of ayat that Allah has revealed, like his statement, وَنَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ تِبْيَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ. We revealed the Quran to you, Ya Muhammad, and it makes everything clear. Everything. There's nothing that's been left out. One of the great scholars of Islam, he had his own madhab. And his madhab was stronger than the 4 madhahib that we know, according to some of the major scholars of Islam of the past. He was Amir al-Mu'mineen in Hadith, Sufyan al-Thawri. A Jewish man said to Sufyan al-Thawri, trying to make istihza, trying to make him feel down. He said this ayat, the Jew read the ayat to Imam Sufyan al-Thawri. He said in the Quran, it said, that the Quran explains everything. You believe in that? Sufyan al-Thawri said, Allahumma naam. I believe in that. He said, then where does the Quran teach us how to make tharid? Tharid is a meal that the Arabs eat. It's one of the best delicacies that they used to eat back then. Where does the Quran show us how to make spaghetti or lasagna or curry? That's what he was saying. Trying to be funny. If the Quran explained everything, it should explain how to make a camera. It should explain how to make a fan. It should explain how to make curry. Where is that? If that question was put forth to the normal Muslim today, he'll scratch his head and he'll say, well, the Quran, based on that, it doesn't explain everything. Al-Imam Sufyan al-Thawri said to that man, Allah said in the Quran, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people who know if you don't know. So if you want to know how to make spaghetti and lasagna or tharid, go and ask the people who know how to make it. That ayat is teaching you how to make it. So there's nothing that we need, nothing that has escaped the Quran, nothing. Even Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at the end of his life, he told his companions at the Hajj, ما من شيء يقربكم إلى الجنة إلا أمرتكم به وما من شيء يقربكم إلى النار إلا نهيتكم عنه. There is nothing, there is no thing that will cause you people to go to the paradise except I told you to do it. Have Tawheed, have Ikhlas, make Salat, give Zakat, wear Hijab, Birru Walidain, be patient, be clean, be truthful, make Tawbah. All of those things he told us to do. If you do those things, they'll get you to Jannah bi-idhnillah. And there's nothing that will cause you to go to the hellfire except that I told you, don't do it. Don't drink khamr. Don't make namima. Don't make ghiba. Don't talk about what you don't have any business of talking about. Don't talk about people. Like I told you, all of us are giving dawah to something. Everybody's giving dawah. There's that person who's giving dawah to trying to disparage people, saying things about people. And if you were to ask that person, where's the proof of that? This thing that you're saying, where's the proof? He says, I don't know, I just heard. What do you mean you just heard? Would you like that to be done to you, said to you? So when he told the people, none of you truly believes until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. He's telling you, love for your brother what you love for yourself will get you to Jannah. So there's nothing that will get you to paradise except the Prophet explains in our religion. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So as it relates to this ayat that we're dealing with today, this is a tremendously important ayat in the life of the Muslim. If he doesn't understand this religion, he's going to be all over the place in his worship. And he may think that he's on the sunnah, and he's thinking that he's doing the right thing. I've seen this with my own eyes. I've seen this with my own eyes. وَغَرَّهُمْ فِي دِينِهِمْ مَا كَانُوا يَفْتَرُونَ. A person has ghurur. He thinks he's really a good person and this and that, but in reality is issues. Allah mentioned in the Quran, مَا فَرَّتْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. We haven't left anything out of this book. Not one ayat, two ayat, three ayat. There are many ayat and ahadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he saw the Amir al-Mu'mineen later on, Umar radiallahu anhu, reading from some of the pages of the Torah. He was inquisitive. He just wanted to read from the Torah like some Muslims. Some Muslims are inquisitive. They want to get the Bible and read the Bible. He's just interested. Oh, I want to read the Bible. And Umar was a scholar. And Umar was the third most knowledgeable person of this ummah. He wasn't an ignorant person. He wanted to compare. He wanted to see, what is their book saying? There was definitely no possibility of him going astray. When the Prophet saw him reading that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Umar, what is that? When he asked Umar, what is that? That's a proof that the Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is not hazir nazir. That's a proof that he doesn't know the ilm al-ghayb. Anytime he asks the question, what's your name? Whose camel is that? Anytime he asks the question, that shows he's not omnipresent. So the person thinks he's on Islam. He's on Islam, but he believes in this Hazir Nazir. Prophet Muhammad knows everything. He's everywhere. Although the Quran is saying that's not true. The Hadith is saying that's not true. The life of the Prophet is saying that's not true. Jibril came and said, Ya Muhammad, akhbirni. And the sa'a, when is mata sa'a? When is the hour? He said, the one who's asking knows just as much as the one who is being asked. And you're telling me he knows everything. He's Hazir Nazir. He knows the ilm al-ghayb. Hey, Umar, what is that you have in your hands? He said, Ya Rasulullah, this is a paper, some papers from the Torah. My neighbor gave it to me. I'm just reading it. Prophet Muhammad became angry, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because, ikhwani, when it comes to advice and when it comes to taking a position, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not care. You're his daughter, you're his granddaughter, grandson, his best friend. He didn't care who you were. If people did the wrong thing, he made al-amru bil-ma'ruf and al-nahyu an-al-munkar within the right way. He didn't make mujamala. Your mother, your father, they don't pray. Your son, your daughter, whoever, your best friend, he used to say things, even if it was embarrassing. He would say it in a nice way, though. He was sitting with the companions, and he could smell them. He could smell them because they were poor, so they were wearing the clothes of the sheep in the summertime, and the smell, he could smell it. And he didn't like bad smells. Don't come to the masjid after eating garlic or onions. The malaika, they are annoyed by the same thing. He wasn't embarrassed. He told the people. He didn't say, hey, you stink. Hey, he didn't say that. Even if it was sensitive, he would address the issue, no matter who you were. He said to Umar, and he was angry, أَمُتَهَوِّكُونَ فِيهَا أَنْتَ يَا ابْنَ الْخَطَّابِ. Are you in doubt about what I brought you? لَقَدْ جِئْتُكُمْ بِهَا نَقِيَّةً بَيْضَاءَ. I brought you this religion, and it is pure and clear, easy to understand. The man who is in the mountains of Peshawar, who can't read and write, he can know his religion. He is ummi, can't read and write. Then the reverb, brand spanking new reverb, comes to a religion. He's not a scholar, but he or she, they can learn the religion. Although they're disconnected in terms of their father and their father's father, a religion that a person can practice. He said, I brought this religion, and it is clear and it is pure. It's not polluted. It's not diluted. And then he says something really tremendous. He said a lot in that hadith. He said, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ لَوْ كَانَ أَخِي مُوسَى حَيًّا مَا وَسِعَهُ إِلَى اتِّبَاعِي. If my brother Musa was here, Musa, one of the 5 major prophets, the one who that Torah was revealed to, if Musa himself was here, not that paper, not that book, Musa, if he was here right now, he wouldn't have any alternative, any choice, except that he has to follow me. He has to follow me. So all of that is a sign and an indication of what? This religion is complete. وَتَمَّتْ كَلِمَةُ رَبِّكَ صِدْقًا وَعَدْلًا. He said in another ayah, the religion of your Lord has been complete. The kalima, the Quran, halal, haram, it is complete. How was it complete? With truthfulness and injustice. There's no lie. Listen to what I received yesterday in my WhatsApp. People sent, and you may have received it as well, because Christmas is coming up. So the Christians are going to celebrate Christmas, and they say it's the birth of Isa ibn Maryam. And I want to ask you people, did Isa ibn Maryam die on Easter Day and then raise back up after 3 days? Did that happen, Ummah al-Islam? Did Isa die and then after 3 days he came back to life? Did that happen? The Christians are celebrating Easter. We have no doubt that that's a lie. Ma qataluhu yaqinan. They did not kill him at all. Question, Ummat al-Islam. Was Isa ibn Maryam born on the 25th of Christmas? Was he? We don't know. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but we don't have any proof. So we don't establish that. We don't negate it, nor do we support it. We don't know. So as Muslims, we can get our heads around that. So Christmas is coming. Right around Christmas time, inshallah, there's going to be the celebration of the birth of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well. The birth of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Mawlid. I'm not mentioning this to make trouble. I'm not mentioning this to make anyone upset or to disrespect you. I'm not mentioning this for that reason. I'm trying to touch this point. And the issue that we're trying to make to you is these issues like this, the person sent a text message out saying the king of Saudi Arabia has now passed a decree in which in Saudi Arabia they're going to start doing the Mawlid this year. Now when you research that thing, you find out that it wasn't true. My point here is the ayah. The words of your Lord have been completed in sidq, with truthfulness. What kind of religion is a person on that he wants to support things that he does by lying? That's my point here. I'm going to make up. I want to practice the Mawlid, me, AbuUsama. So I make up fake news. You know who's always saying fake news, right? You guys know who always say that, right? Just because he always says fake news doesn't mean we don't buy into it. There's a lot of stuff that's fake news. This smartphone, I told you guys in the beginning of this talk, Al-Islam explained everything to us. Al-Islam explained to us how to use this mobile phone, and it wasn't there during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You get a text message, you can't believe everything that you read. Your religion tells you have to deal with this stuff in a particular way. So we're not going to reject the concept of fake news just because a crazy man says that. Even the broken clock is right 2 times every day. Every day. The clock doesn't move, it's stuck on 12 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock 2 times every day. It's wrong the rest of the time, but 2 times a day is correct. My question is, I want to practice the Mawlid. This is just an example. And in order to prove it, I have to lie. Saudi Arabia don't make things halal or haram. But my question is, like the ayah said, Al-Islam has been complete, the words of Allah complete with sidq and with justice. So we can't be I have to ask myself, what kind of religion am I upon that I have to lie to support what I'm doing? And this is pretty prevalent in our community. So this ayat, ikhwani, is an ayat of the Quran that is a tremendous ayat that we deserve to come, and we deserve to not only study it and to be reminded of it, but we have to be people who really get a grasp of the real understanding and the real meaning of this ayat. And if we don't, we'll become like the Yahud and the Nasara, Jews and Christians, Sikhs and Hindus. People do whatever they want to do in the way that they want to do it. So in the deen of Allah, al-Islam, as he said in the Quran in another ayat, Inna ad-deen inda Allah al-Islam, وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ لَهُ فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. The religion with Allah is al-Islam. He's not going to accept al-Islam from anybody other than al-Islam. He's not going to accept it. But what is that al-Islam? What is that al-Islam? The one that the Prophet brought, sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wa sallam. I want to share with you, brothers, just a few examples, ikhwani, about how the companions dealt with this ayat and issues like it. Because they're the example for us. Al-Imam Abu Hanifa, Al-Imam Malik, Al-Imam Ahmed, Al-Imam Al-Shafi'i. May Allah have mercy upon them. Radiyallahu anhum wa rahmatullahi alayhim. Those imams, as I mentioned, inshallah, they're from the awliya of Allah, and we get close to Allah by loving them and respecting them. And if you see a person talking bad about any of them, then be suspicious about the religion of that person. Be suspicious. Those people are ulama, but they're not like the companions. The companions are on another level. Another level. So let us look at what the companions said about this. Some issues that happened with them, and there are a lot. One of the companions was Salman al-Farisi. And I know people who come from Pakistan, people who come from Afghanistan, from that part of the world, Iran, that part of the world, Khurasan, they have this connection and this love for Salman al-Farisi. Like black people, Africans, they have that connection to Bilal ibn Rabah, for an example. Nothing wrong with that, and we love all of them. Salman al-Farisi, he was sitting with a Jew, a Jewish person. And the Jewish person wanted to make him doubt his religion. He wanted to put him down. He wanted him to apologize about his religion, like your coworker wants you to do. Like the people you study with want you to do. Like the people you deal with. They want you to apologize about al-Islam, the hijab. We pray 5 times a day. We fast in the month of Ramadan. What Allah made halal and haram, people around us who are not Muslims and they don't have understanding, they want to put pressure on you and myself to apologize about the religion. So the man said to Salman al-Farisi, he said, verily your Nabi, he has taught you people everything. He taught you everything. Hatta al-khara' aw al-khira'a. He taught you even how to go to the bathroom. He wanted Salman al-Farisi to say, oh, well, I'm sorry, yes. And he wanted him to apologize. He wanted him to start dancing for him, like some Muslims do. You know, you've heard me since I've been here talk about ISIS, because ISIS need to be warned against. Extreme people like that, Qaeda, we need to warn people against them because of the extremes that are, but the same amount of hatred, for me, can't speak for anyone, the same amount of dislike that I have for them, I have the dislike for the other people on the other side as well. The apologetic Muslims, the ones who want to change the religion, the ones who are embarrassed about their religion and where they come from, the ones who want us to change our, I'm talking about the Muslims, I'm talking about. The one who's afraid, he's afraid. He's going to water down al-Islam to make Bani Adam pleased. I have a problem with those people. And many of them are leaders of the Muslims. Many of them are the intellectuals of the Muslims. Then you find that guy, he's just a miskin guy. He's sweeping the streets of San Diego. That's his job. He has a job, minimum wage. But if you stood before that man and you tried to blow him off of the square of al-Islam, he's going to stand his position and he's going to have izzah for his religion and about his culture, where he comes from. He doesn't see himself as a second-class citizen. He sees himself as being, I'm a citizen here, and I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I'm a Muslim. And democracy allows me to be a Muslim. I don't have to apologize to anybody. So I hate that extremist, but I also hate that sellout. That guy over there is a problem as well. And Salman al-Farisi, he wasn't having it. The man said, your Nabi taught you everything, even how to go to the bathroom. Salman said, Ajal, you're absolutely right, he did. Nahana an nastaqbil al-qiblata bigha'atin aw bawl wa nahana an nastanjiya bil yamin wa nahana an nastanjiya bi aqall min 3 ahjar wa nahana an nastanjiya bi raji'in aw adam. He said, you're absolutely right. Our Nabi taught us everything. He taught us that when we go to the toilet, akramakumullah, I shouldn't face the Qibla and I shouldn't turn my back to the Qibla. The Muslim is connected to which way is the Qibla. In the Muslim world, the guy who comes to build the house from the ground up, he's going to determine where is the Qibla, and when he makes the bathroom, the toilet, akramakumullah, he's going to make sure you're not facing the Qibla, or when you go to the toilet, you're not having your back to the Qibla, with respect to the Qibla. ذَلِكَ وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. Anyone who respects the institutions of Allah, it's a sign he has taqwa. But during this time, where al-Islam has faded away, like the thobe, the little kids of the Muslims who are learning the Quran, those who do come, sometimes they take the mushaf and they write in the Quran. They write in the Quran. Draw pictures, write nasty things, deface the Quran. Like some of the non-Muslims who, when they went to Afghanistan, some of those soldiers, they went into a masjid that was destroyed. They started ripping up the Quran and kicking the Quran and urinating on the Quran because they're people of kufr and shirk. But what about the Muslim? So the Prophet was about to pray, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He got ready to say, Allahu Akbar. But he saw someone spit towards the Qibla on the wall. And it wasn't just, it was that stuff, the mucus. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam took his thobe, as-sharif, and he took it and wiped the spit off. And he told the people, don't spit towards the Qibla. Because towards the Qibla is the face of Allah, meaning when we pray that way. He himself took off that stuff. He didn't say, hey, you, fulan, come take it off, clean it. He himself took it off, leaving no doubt in the minds of the people. Don't spit towards the Qibla, respect the Qibla. So I see the elder Shaykh, he doesn't know much about Islam. He is a person who is cultural Islam. He doesn't know much. He doesn't know the word dalil. But when he sees a young person sitting in the masjid and the young person has his feet like this towards the Qibla, relaxing, the Shaykh says, hey, don't put your feet towards the Qibla. The young man of the Sunnah said, why, Shaykh? He said, it's disrespect. He says, where's the dalil? The dalil, ya akhi, is then that ayat, that you have to respect the Qibla. I'm not saying it's haram to sit like that, but what the Shaykh is saying is from his fitrah of respecting the Qibla. So, Salman al-Farisi, he said that the Nabi, he told us, don't spit, don't urine, don't face the Qibla when you go to the toilet. He told us, when you clean yourself, don't clean yourself with your right hand. Don't clean yourself with your right hand. You clean yourself with your left hand. During this time, Allahu Akbar, during this time in which the thobe, Islam has faded away, the kid is in the school and he goes to the toilet. He goes to the toilet standing up. He does his business and without any stinger, he leaves. Because this is the way of the Europeans. This is the way of America. I'm not putting these people down. They don't have knowledge. And that's why we have to give them knowledge. I'm talking about us, your kids and my kids. Those of them who, when you say to him, did you pray? He say yes. And he knows he didn't pray. Did you pray? Yes, Abby, I prayed. Man, you didn't pray. Go and pray. He gets up and he just goes, as if he still has wudu. It's Isha time. You don't even have wudu. Yes, I do. I have wudu since Fajr time. That's our children. That's our condition. That's our situation. Our situation today. And if you are a father or a mother with a child that on his own at the age of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, on their own, they'll go and they'll pray on their own, then you should make sajda to shukr to Allah. Because most of our kids are not like that. Most of our kids are not like that. Why? Because we're not like that. We allow the prayer to come and go. And like the great Imam AthThahabi said, in that book he wrote, Kitab al-Kaba'ir, and I think that book is in English, I'm sure it is. He said that the scholar of Islam, Imam Ibn Hazm, he said, I don't know any sin after a shirk and after murder. I don't know any sin that is more severe than a man allowing the salat to come in and to go out. The only two sins bigger than that, shirk and murder. So my point is, Salman al-Farisi radiyallahu anhu, he didn't start to dance and apologize and acquiesce about the religion. He let that man know, yes, Prophet Muhammad told us that. Respect the Qibla, don't clean myself with my right hand. And he told us if you have to make istinja, it's called istijmar. If you're out in the mountains, if you're out in the desert, you're out in the woods and you have to clean yourself, they used to use rocks. He said, don't use less than 3. Don't use less than 3. Don't use 1, don't use 2. Use 3 or more. And number 4, he said, don't clean yourself during that time with the dry dung of the animals or bones. I want to ask you guys, Ummah al-Islam, why is it that if a person like the Arabs and the Bedouins, Afghanistan, Pakistan, they live out in the desert somewhere, this is their reality. Water is important to them. They're not going to use water like that all the time. So the religion allowed them to clean themselves with rocks, allowed us to clean ourselves with rocks. So you don't have to have water even here. You can just use tissue if you have to do that in the school, at work. You can use tissue if you don't want to use water. Anyway, my question to you is, what is the wisdom? What is the hikmah? Why did the Prophet ﷺ prohibit us from cleaning ourselves with rocks or dry dung? Anybody know? Does anybody know? Anybody know? Who was the one who blurted out? What was the answer that you blurted out? Malish, fadl. The companions asked that question. Ya Rasulullah, why can't we use the rocks and why can't we not use the dry dung and the bones? He said, because that's the food of your brothers from the jinn. That's the food of your brothers from the jinn. There's a person today who would say, oh, the jinn eat bones. The jinn eat. I told a brother, and when I accepted Islam, I have respect for this man because he was an elder African-American brother and he had traveled to Egypt and he learned some Arabic and he was teaching people Arabic, my revert brothers. And I'm a brand spanking new Muslim at that time, so I didn't know. I thought he had knowledge because he was a teacher. But when I came back from studying, he was eating some candies. They're called fish, like licorice, these little fish. He was eating it with his left hand. And I wanted to advise him, not because I'm the best guy, I just wanted to advise him. I know that hadith. I said, Shaykh, the Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, don't eat with your left hand because shaitan eats with his left hand. Don't drink with your left hand because shaitan drinks with his left hand. Don't give with your left hand because shaitan gives with his left hand. Don't take with your left hand because shaitan takes with his left hand. This is one of the reasons why he said when you go to the toilet, don't clean yourself with your right hand, because the right hand, you youngsters, is the good hand in Islam. You want your books of good deeds, Yawm al-Qiyamah, to be given in your right hand, Yawm al-Qiyamah. You come into the masjid with your right foot. Prophet Muhammad would put his clothes on and start off with the right. When he got a haircut, he told him start from the right. When you come into the masjid, the people on the right side of the imam in the Saff al-Awwal, the malaika make dua for him. The right, the right, the right. May Allah make us from the Ashab al-Yameen. Qulu ameen. Shaykh, don't eat with your left hand. You know, he said, so you mean to tell me shaitan got a left hand? I said, nah, shaitan has a left hand. The Prophet said that. When you wake up for Fajr, the Nabi told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to make istinshaq and to make mubalagha. When you make wudu for Fajr, specifically, put a lot of water in your nose and blow it out. Like, put more water in your nose. Not being shadid, extreme, where you put so much water in your nose and then you drown yourself, or so much water in your nose where you hurt your sinuses and you destroy them. And then when that happens, you come and say, AbuUsama told us this was the sunnah. I didn't say it was the sunnah to destroy your nose. Prophet Muhammad said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when you make wudu for Fajr prayer, put a lot of water in your nose and make mubalagha. They said, why, Ya Rasulullah? He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, inna shaitan yabitu fi khayshum ahadikum. Because shaitan sleeps in the sinus cavities of one of you people. Shaitan sleeps in my sinus cavity and yours and yours and yours and yours and yours? Yes. For every Bani Adam. That's what the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So as a Muslim, I have to believe that. That's what it is to be a Muslim. And if you allow yourself to become an intellectual to the degree where you start to doubt everything that you don't understand or it doesn't make sense with you, you are not a real Muslim. You're not a real Muslim. Because he told us so many things. Ash-shaytan, he yajri fi bani Adam majra dam. He circulates in everyone here the same way that your blood circulates. In everybody here. How is that? These are from the issues that only Allah knows. So the point, ikhwani, is Salman al-Farisi, he didn't apologize about his religion being complete. That's the point. Abu Dharr al-Ghafari, he said to the Tabi'een, we used to sit with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the bird would take off in the sky. وَمَا كَانَتْ يُقَلِّبُ جَنَاحَيْهِ فِي السَّمَاءِ إِلَّا ذَكَرَ لَنَا النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ مِنْهُ عِلْمًا. If the bird took off and flew away, and we're sitting with the Prophet, he would look and he would tell them some knowledge about that bird. The only one who holds that bird up is Allah. You see that bird right there, that crow? Don't eat that crow. Any bird that has that beak, like the hawk and those birds have the talons, they're haram. If you want to kill this bird, chicken, whatever, to eat it, then make sure you sharpen your knife and spare him from suffering. Everything you need to know about that bird, everything. That bird will come Yawm al-Qiyamah and it will say, oh my Lord, ask this man, why did he kill me? Because the man was just shooting birds for target practice and he was just leaving them. You can't just kill an animal just for sport and game. That bird will come Yawm al-Qiyamah. Oh my Lord, ask him, why did he kill me? So everything we need to know about our religion is there. So my question to you again, Ummatul Islam, you brothers, my question to you, and we're going to complete this here, although we had a lot of other things to say. My question to you, and I ask you all about Allah, be truthful and tell me what you really believe. A religion that teaches us everything we need to know about how to go to the toilet. How to go to the toilet. From the time that a person is born to the time that the person dies. And everything in between that. He knows what to do. How to get married. How to get divorced. He knows everything from this religion. My question to you. Do you think that this kind of religion would forget to tell us celebrating the Prophet's birthday, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is a good thing? Do you think our religion would forget to tell us that? Do you think so? Wallahi, it wouldn't forget. Allah wouldn't forget. As he said about himself, وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا. Your Lord didn't forget anything, nothing. How to go to the toilet. But then we don't know about these other aspects of what to do. In my community, I'm the new imam in my community. And this community has all of the jama'at in it. It's a big challenge. Every group of Muslims that you know is in my community. The Grand Mosque of Liverpool. Every group. So there's confusion. There was a lot of confusion. A lot of innovation. A lot of crazy things going on. So some of the things that used to happen, for an example, since it's the central mosque, people would die, so I have to wash the body and we have to pray over the dead person. So many of the Arabs who are in that community, especially from Yemen, if someone dies in the community, the people come to the masjid and they start reading Surah Yasin. They read Surah Yasin over the dead person. And they do that for so many days. My question to you, the religion that tells us what to do from the time you're born to the time that you die, do you think it forgot? It didn't tell us what we should do at the janazah of the dead. Do you think our religion is like that? La wallahi ikhwani. That's what you have to always say to yourself. And for you young brothers and you revert brothers especially, listen. I am not giving you these examples to cause trouble because I don't want to come back here again. No. I'm giving you these examples because it's only making sense unless you insist to be on that cultural Islam, like the non-Muslims of Quraysh. Prophet Muhammad came to them and told them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, qulu la ilaha illallah. That's all he told them at the beginning. And they couldn't get with the program. They said, bal nattabi'u ma alfayna alayhi aba'ana. We're not doing none of that. We're going to only follow what our fathers did. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ اتَّبِعُوا مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ. When it said to them, follow what Allah revealed, follow Rasulullah, they used to say, nope. They're going to follow what our fathers followed. Can't be like that. We follow what our fathers did when it's good. For an example, our fathers used to be hard workers. If our fathers were given the opportunity that we have to get educated, the way they worked hard, our fathers would have accomplished a lot of stuff. So let's be hard workers like our fathers, like that. As for some of that stuff that our fathers used to do, burying your daughter alive, being racist, you know, some of that ignorant stuff, no, you can't follow that. You cannot follow that stuff. So for the revert person here, for you youngsters here, you listening to me, son? Always ask the question. When people tell you do this, do that, the question is, did the companions do it that way? Did the companions understand the ayat the way you're understanding it? And if the answer is no, they didn't do it that way. They didn't understand it. They didn't say Haza Nazar. They didn't say the Rasul knew the ilm al-ghayb. If they didn't say it, you don't say it. It's as simple as that, man. It's as simple as that. It's a formula. So in concluding, this ayat is telling us, ikhwani, of something very dangerous, and that is innovation in the religion, man. Innovation in the religion. You know, I used to be a Christian. I used to go to church, and my parents used to make me go to church. When I got to the age where I didn't have to go, I made talaq of that church. I made talaq, al-ba'in, khalas, 3 times. And tataliq, and tataliq, and tataliq. That's what I did. And I went my own way. Because it didn't make sense to me. But we used to be in church, and they used to have this thing called communion. Communion where they would pass around these little crackers. They look like Kringles. They were crackers. And they would pass around Kool-Aid, juice, sometimes real wine, red wine. And they would pass it around. And I was 8, 9, 10. The juice would come to you, and you drink the juice. And they said the juice is the blood of Jesus. The blood of Jesus, man? What are we, cannibals? We eat blood, we drink blood. It doesn't even make sense. The blood of Jesus in our religion. حرمت عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير وما أهل لغير الله به. You can't eat khinzir. I met some Pakistani people over in the UK, many Afghanis, many Pakistanis, Bangladeshis in the UK. When you say the word khinzir, they do like this. I'm not trying to make you laugh, man. They do like this when you use the word khinzir. Like you're talking, you say, man, you know these people eat khinzir. This is a terrible thing, they eat khinzir. Sheikh, why are you grabbing your ears like this? Khinzir, every time you use the word khinzir. He said, because where we come from, if you're young and you do something bad, the teacher, the mother, the father, they grab your ear. So when you say khinzir, it's like bad, it's bad. I said, okay, I get that. But when the Prophet ﷺ used to read the Salah, and he read the ayah, Hurrimat alaykum al-maytatu wa lahmu khinzir, did the companions do like that? If the companions didn't do like that, don't do it. Hey, listen, ikhwani, I'm not making fun at people's culture and what they do. I'm saying we have to be aql min hada. We have to be people who have more intelligence than that. this is the blood of Jesus, and the cracker is his body. Ishhada. And as we got older, and when I mean older, 10, 11, they gave us real wine. Real wine. And then you want to wonder why and how some of my relatives and my people from my community, how they grow up becoming alcoholics, because you're drinking alcohol in the church and you're giving it to young kids. Now, you have to ask yourself, as a Christian, where does this come from? They don't ask. But the Muslim can't be like them. And the Prophet, he spoke the truth. I told you, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Al-Islam is going to fade away. He also said to this community, لَتَتَّبِعُنَّ السُّنَنَ مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكُمْ شِبْرًا بِشِبْرٍ وَذَرَاءً بِذَرَاءٍ. You people are going to follow those people went before you. Handspan by handspan, arm span by, you're going to follow them exactly. If they go into a lizard's hole, you're going to do the same thing. Everything that they did. Everything. And what they did was what? They worshipped Isa ibn Maryam. They talked about the religion without any knowledge. They introduced in their religion. They don't use their intellect. Their women got out of control. Everything that happened to them is happening to us. Everything. So look what happened Yawm al-Qiyamah. Look what happens. The people will come and Yawm al-Qiyamah is going to be very tough. The sun is going to be very low and it's going to be beaming on people, and we got to stand before Allah for all of what we've done and what we didn't do that we should have done, and it's going to be tough for all of us. It's going to be tough for all of us. And on that day, people are going to need every opportunity to get help. Every opportunity. And from the best help on that day is the Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Him making shafa'ah, making intercession for people. He's going to make intercession. He's going to help people. So the people will come to his hold. They'll come to his fountain that's specially for him. Not the Kawthar. It's a special fountain that's only for him. The cups there, the cups at his fountain are more than the number of the stars in the sky. More than that. When you drink from it, you'll never be thirsty again. People are going to be hot, upset, nervous. It's going to be tough. And they'll come to drink because they're nervous. When they come to drink, the malaika will get between them and the fountain. Prophet Muhammad will come to help, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he'll say to the angels, they're my community, they're from my community, let them drink. The angels will say to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Innaka la tadri ma ahdathu min ba'dik." Ya Muhammad, you don't know what they introduced in your religion after you. Hazir, Nazir, Mawlid, all of this stuff. You don't know what they introduced. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was sent as a rahmah, he's going to say, "Get them away, get them away. Get them away, get them away. Get them away, don't let them drink from my fountain." Because of those innovations, Ikhwani, the religion has become something other than what is the true religion. And people went astray because of that. Our children, our whole country, the whole country, the vast majority of people in that country are doing things that is not Islam. So it's a serious issue. So he didn't try to help and make intercession and give rahmah, because the ramifications of what you did was so serious. People went astray, wasted time, energy, effort because of this. You gotta get him away, get him away. So we can't afford to be people who are introducing things in the religion. Last thing that I want to mention to you is listen to this, and I say this with sincerity. I don't want anybody to get upset, but I may not see you again. I'm not here to give this talk to make you upset. This is the talk I was assigned, and this is the way I think I should deal with it, because this is serious, man. This is serious. This is serious. Man comes to the doctor and he has cancer. And when the doctor looks at his body and he finds this man is terminally ill with cancer, the doctor turns around and gives him some baloney, gives him some kalam farigh. Come on, doctor, tell the man the truth, man, so that he can prepare himself, get his will ready, live the rest of his life, inshallah, with seriousness. Come on, doctor, be for real. You guys in this masjid, Allah has blessed you to have a masjid in a country that allows you to practice your religion. And the Islamophobia that we suffer from in the UK is nothing like what you have here. This is easy. And being a Muslim in this society is like a walk in the park. It's not like what the Prophet and his companions had to go through, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, radiallahu anhu. It's not like that. It's relatively easy. All we have to do is take advantage of the situation. So we're asking the administration and the elders and the people who are responsible for this masjid to come up with the game plan where we're going to be a bit different in terms of why are we here and what we're doing. It's not enough just to be the administration and nothing. You're going to be asked about being an administrator. Yawm al-Qiyamah. Kullukum mas'ul. Wa kullukum ra'in. Wa kullukum mas'ulan ra'iyatihi. The imam of our masjid, whoever serves as the imam, you're in a position of leadership. You elders, we respect you. Islam tells us to respect you. What you say, we're going to listen. You people who have this position is not like a mirath. You just inherit it and that's it. It's a mas'uliyah. And I'm saying here to you gently and with all of the respect that I can muster, this is a serious issue. That you people in this masjid, make this a masjid where when the person comes into this masjid, he can smell the aroma of the sunnah. He can see education in the masjid by the way the people are. Not, this is just the masjid, do what you want. It's just, you don't want that. I love that masjid. When you come into that masjid, you can see the people know their religion. The ahkam and the adab of Jummah. You see the people know about Jummah. But there are those masjids, people come in, they sit over there, They come in, they're talking. Our women. One of the problems with Bani Israel is that their women got out of control. That's what the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Their women got out of control. They were not in control of their women. And when I say control, I don't mean that oppressive control. Crack in the head and knock a block off. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where the woman doesn't respect the kalima of her husband. Who's the imam? And you can tell the reality of a community by looking at the women of that community. How do they dress? How do they act? How do they behave? How is that? You can tell a lot about any man, about his community. So I'm not saying this to put you down. I'm just saying this because I may not see you again. Allah's going to ask me. I want to come back here again, and I want you guys to come to me in the UK, and I want to give you love and give you hospitality. So I'm not saying something or things where you're going to hate me. But how would you call me your Muslim brother if I didn't advise you about something that was real? It's a real issue. So come on, guys. Ummatul Islam. Billahi alaykum. I'm asking you guys by Allah. We all love the Prophet of Islam, inshallah. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We all love our Islam. So let us just do our best to do your job and bring your piece of the puzzle to the table. You youngsters, learn this religion. Start some halaqat of knowledge, learning the Quran and little basic aspects of al-Islam. Just don't leave the masjid as a place where it's just, that type of place. Because that's not going to cut the mustard anymore. 2017, real challenges. The Muslims are the big elephant in the room in this country. We're the elephant in the room, but we're a sleeping elephant. So I want to stop here, inshallah, azza wa jalla, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for you guys to meet these challenges that you have to do. But wallahi, it can be done, because when you have Allah azza wa jalla, anything can happen. Anything. You can accomplish anything, but be balanced on the religion. Don't be from ha'ula'i mutashaddidin, and don't be from ula'ika al-mutasahilin. Don't be from them rough and tough people like that, ISIS. And don't be from them people over there who The African American woman who has a PhD comes on Friday and she leads the Salat al-Jum'ah. She gives the Khutbah al-Jum'ah. And another lady over there gives the Adhan. And in the first row are men and women, men and women. That extreme Islam, crazy Islam. Or the masjid that's called Masjid al-Fatah. You guys know Masjid al-Fatah in San Francisco? Anybody know Masjid al-Fatah? Put your hand up if you heard of Masjid al-Fatah in San Francisco. That's Islam? I don't put those people outside of Islam. That's an abomination and a big sin. I don't say they're outside of Islam, but in our religion, there is a rule as it relates to those people. But this is the extreme on the other side. Our Islam is under threat. So learn the deen. Okay, guys? So I'm going to stop here, inshallah ta'ala, and we'll open up the door for questions if that's what the administration want. 2, 3 questions, that's it. Or if it's time to get our grub on, we'll just let you go and you can get your grub on. It's totally up to you. The Shaykh is the boss with the hot sauce right there. He let us know what he wants to do. Just 2 or 3 questions, bus.